So at the end of the video the other day, I was asking Lasengo to give us something else besides just Advanced Quest 5, because let's be honest, Advanced Quest 5 on its own is really not a week's worth of content. I completely skipped out on the fact that we were supposed to be getting the return for the main interlude to Tunguska Sanctuary after the current event ended, and now we have it live in the game. And while I do think this is kind of nice, because it's about, I want to say 20-ish Saint Quartz, if I'm remembering correctly, that we get from this, which is kind of nice. For whatever reason, if you're an older player, you still, or I guess newer player, and you didn't participate in this, you have to pay, I believe it's 5 rare mana prisms to get into the main interlude, but if you've already done it, you get to do it for free, which, that makes sense. You know, why have to pay for rare mana prisms for something you've already done? But isn't the point also to try to get people up to par, you know, for the story before we actually move into Trom? I think that's the whole point, right? They want people to be able to read the last relevant story thing that happened, but if you don't have the rare mana prisms, you can't do it, right? So you're going to be a little bit lost regardless. So I don't know. I think things like this are why for the Evocation Festival, they were just like, okay, we're going to do this new currency that, you know, you're able to get the free-to-plays and all that good stuff. You don't have to pay to get in anymore, because even though they give out rare mana prisms, I would say fairly often, like not a whole bunch, but you do get them. Like I have 9 sitting in here, and I don't think I've burned a SR or higher servant in quite a while over here. I don't think I've really gotten that many dupes, but you know, you get them every now and then, but you kind of do have to stockpile them up. And especially if you are a newer player, there is a lot of other stuff that is going to be competing for your rare mana prisms, especially like some of the older CEs, things like Chaldea Tea Time, Lunchtime, the Bella Lisa, the Mona Lisa one, like all these really good CEs that you really want to get for like bond farming and especially QP farming, because getting like 1.1 million versus getting 4.5 million on average runs is an absolute game changer when trying to farm dailies, or even running into certain events that do drop QP. So it is a little sucky. Thankfully, you don't necessarily have to go for BB anymore, because we know she'll be free in a few years over here on the NA side of things. But yeah, I don't know. It's very weird, because if you're wanting to actually stay up to date with the story, which I would argue is the main point of playing FGO, you know, the whole selling point, I would say, compared to other mobile games, is that we have like the most banger story, you know. And I know some people would be like, you're just biased because you cover FGO. Look, I'll say that our game is one of the more boring ones. I will say the gameplay loop for FGO, not nearly as fun as, say, the gameplay loop for something like Arknights, right, which I like really enjoy. But I will say that, for one, you don't have to read 85 Bible chapters like you do in Arknights. Things are a bit more concise, and I do think on average they're more interesting or better. But yeah, hopefully if you are a newer player, you're able to accrue some rare mana prisms, and we'll be able to get in here, because I just wanted to show real quick that it is pretty much the exact same thing, minus the rage, which I do think would have been very funny if they gave us the raids back, because if you weren't playing during that time, they might have messed up on the first raid, which originally I didn't think was that big of a deal until I looked at my proof stocks and realized, even though I was making fun of people for being little whiny babies not getting to farm for their proofs, I am now one of those whiny babies, like complaining that I don't have enough proofs. So, you know, I'm a little bit more upset about it now. But yeah, as you can see, you can go through that have a strong relationship to the main story. Yeah, you can go through the event, play it as per usual. I believe you still get like the, what's it called, the fragments for each node, and then, you know, you get a Saint Quartz for each, which is why I think it's about 20. I know it's 16 for the actual main fights themselves, but I didn't actually go back and look at all of the actual individual nodes to see how many fragments we should be getting, but it should be at least like 20 in that range, which is nice. You know, you're getting in that range of being able to get an extra multi, especially when we do have things like Trom right around the corner that are going to be bringing some pretty hype servants. I'm not the biggest fan of Charlemagne myself, but I know he's very popular. I'm really looking forward to being able to get Kriemhild and Ruler Moriarty over there. Plus, right after that, you know, we have Biken event, then we move straight into Anniversary. And even if I'm not going to be summoning for Archetype Earth, I know what, like 90% of the player base is probably going to be summoning for her. And if you're not summoning for her, you're going after all of the summoner servants that are coming out right after. So I think it's a really good gesture to put something like this out right before Anniversary and right before Tron, before we drop a whole bunch of servants, because, you know, getting that extra multi, that might be the difference between you getting the units you wanted and not getting the units you wanted. But again, having it not be accessible to newer players is a little upsetting, unless they change that. Let's just go double check in the news real quick, because I don't believe they did. I think it is still the same thing. Yeah, here it is. No, that's just the summoning campaign. Brother, get me the information. Where is the info? They're just like, no, we're not going to tell you, actually. There we go. Permanently added in exchange for rare mana prisms for free once you meet the quest unlock requirements, which the quest unlock requirement should be you've already beaten it originally when it came out in December, which, I don't know, man. It's like you want to have them get like a good relationship with the story, as they said in that little gold barrier thing, that little pop-up they hit us with. But then it's like, these new players can't play it, man. They're not able to play it. Because I don't think it's super far-fetched for people to be already kind of up-to-date on the story and being like, oh, you wanted to read this? Better go sell some SRs, buddy. Which I don't think is super cool. But they are, like, giving out... I think it's one for Trom's login release. I think we're getting one. And then we'll get some for Anniversary. But imagine not being able to get, like, full context for things until Anniversary drops. You know, that's just, I don't know, not super cool for me. But, yeah. I don't know, man. Y'all can let me know what y'all think about that in the comments down below. Yeah, especially as I was scrolling down, I completely forgot they also added the mission so you get 10 Sanquits for it. So imagine basically missing out on just a free multi from a fairly easy story chapter. I don't think like the Ivan raid or the Surtur raid or even the Koyanskaya raids are that particularly difficult. And especially, and even if they are, you could just power through them with command spells. You have so much time in between now and Anniversary to just get all these free Sanquits. But yeah, it's just weird, man. It's just weird. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, we'll help people get out there. We'll help you get through Lost Belt 6 by making things cost nothing. But then as soon as you get over there, you're kind of stopgapped. Because, yeah, they're like, if you finish the original event, you get it for free. And I don't know. It seems weird to me. It just seems strange. If you want people to be up to date on the story, but then you're kind of gatekeeping them from being able to participate in the story because they don't have enough rare mana prisms, is a bit upsetting. Especially when, you know, even though it could be like, oh, ZTL, they give us rare mana prisms all the time. Every celebration, we get a whole bunch of rare mana prisms. But then you have other stuff, like I said, that you're competing for. And then, you know, even if you don't want to use your stuff on BB, maybe you're someone that's getting hard gatekept by a certain Avenger boss fight. And then you're just like, oh, well, I kind of need to go at least get one of these BBs, try to, you know, be able to get through it. And that can already be pretty annoying in and of itself. So, I don't know. It's just like for these things as well, they eventually just make them free. If I remember correctly, like, I think Seraph is free as a main interlude. And I think Oku was just made... Oh, we already got that one. It was made free and unlocked for everybody. So, I just don't get this whole, like, waiting period in between. You know, if you're going to make it free eventually in, like, a year or two, just cut out the middle waiting time and let people get into the event and read it. I don't know. Because I can't imagine being a newer player and being super invested in the story and then just not being able to participate in it. It would really frustrate me to no ends. I mean, to be fair, there are, like, 1 or 2 events that I missed out on because I made this account a little bit later, like, about... year 1-ish, around like when Jalter released. And so there were some events that even with reruns I did miss, and that was really unfortunate. I'm like, dude, there's events that I just can't read. You know, it's not like I could go online and, you know, like watch the event. Some of them do have that. Some people, I think like ZVN puts up the like translations and stuff for the events, but I don't know if they have every single one. It's, again, also just minor nitpick complaint that FGO just doesn't have that available on like a website or something, you know, but I guess they want to encourage people to go play the game, but the events are no longer available, then how do I go back and watch it? I don't know. Now I'm just starting to ramble, but they're just little things here and there that I'm like, just feel bad for newer players that are just not going to be able to participate in the event. Because some people will say the event is a little bit whack. I think the event is pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a pretty good read, albeit some weird parts in the middle there, but I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you guys on the flippity floppity.